suspense. Experience the triumph of the human spirit. Every night on Storm Stories, only on the Weather Channel.
I serve because
my family taught me that if you're blessed, you have to give back. City year.
I want it to be better for the kids coming up than it was for me.
I serve because I love my country.
I serve because of these guys right here.
They need me.
I serve because it feels good.
I want to make a difference.
1 year.
City year.
Now I can.
City year.
City year.
City year.
City year.
Is this your year?
Unsafe living conditions, out-of-date medications, inadequate nutrition, unreasonable restraint. Freeholder Brian Hughes uncovered neglect at the County Geriatric Center, fought to improve patient care, and worked for new senior centers throughout the county. As county executive, he'll increase oversight and hold management accountable. Democrat Brian Hughes for county executive. He'll never stop fighting for us.
And it is time now to take a look at the tropics. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sharon Resalton. Let's look at the latest now with Mindy, which is now a tropical depression, packing winds of 35 miles per hour. Movement now to the east at 7 miles per hour. And 600 miles to the southwest of Bermuda, the central pressure at 1,008 millibars. And this has been undergoing quite a bit of shear out of the southwest. And because of that, it has weakened considerably. And we do not expect much of a change as we go through the next 24 hours or so. If anything, it will weaken still further. So looks like this will actually pass probably to the south of Bermuda, but we don't want you to completely let your guard down. You may experience some effects from this, but chances are this has already begun its eastward movement. So it will most likely continue on that track and pass to the south of Bermuda. Nevertheless, it has weakened considerably and is mainly, at this point, just a threat to shipping interests. Now, we can expand the picture and find that we do have another tropical low and tropical wave out here in the eastern Atlantic. A little late in the season to see something this far east, but every once in a while, and it's like once in a blue moon, we see something like that happen. There is a shearing environment to the northwest of this, but it's possible it could slip underneath that or to the south of that, and maybe have a chance to develop further or get more organized. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that one. Otherwise, the rest of the Atlantic Basin is very, very quiet. The Eastern Pacific is very, very quiet as well. Not much to speak of here. So we'll take you back into the lower 48 and talk a little bit about some of the showers exiting in the northeast, moving out of the Boston area after you've received about 2 inches of rain, and it forced the cancellation of Game 4 in Boston. That will be played for Monday night, and the weather's looking good for that. But the rain continues here into eastern Maine, and you might find some pockets of some moderate rain occasionally. Still some showers down around the Brownsville area of Texas. Watching an increased amount of showers here into Wyoming, and some showers also extending in through the northwest and in through the northern portions of the upper Midwest. That's in advance of a frontal boundary there. But again, the showers pushing out of Boston, still coming down strong along I-95 as we go across the eastern extent of the state of Maine. And down in through Texas, San Antonio looking pretty good, but a little bit further southward, some of that rain continuing, so the flash flood watches are still in effect as well. So we'll have to watch out for that. Monday's forecast does call for some more showers into central and south Texas. I should say mostly into south Texas. More sunshine, dry conditions in through the southwest. Few afternoon showers developing ahead of a frontal boundary here, so Kansas City could get wet later in the day. And we'll see that moisture expanding as we go on into Tuesday ahead of that frontal system. Sunshine returning across the mid-Atlantic. And we'll say maybe a few remnant showers into eastern Maine for the early part of your Monday. Scattered thunderstorms into Florida. Temperature is a very big part of the weather story, as we'll find some 70s across the southern Great Lakes, 80s into the southeast and along the Gulf Coast, and some 90s continuing in through the southwest. And here's a look at that rain that blossoms across the east for Tuesday, while the west will be very, very quiet. Tuesday across the east, it's going to be very, very wet. Scattered thunderstorms, D.C., Baltimore. Could see some of that action across the lower Mississippi Valley as well. And temperatures responding, cooling off accordingly behind that frontal boundary, with some highs to the north only in the 50s on Tuesday.
There's more from the Weather Channel at weather.com. More.
Storm over the weekend. Downgraded yesterday, The pressure is at 1,008 millibars. It is moving east away from the Bahamas. Again, good news here. As you can see, there is some convection with it, but it's very poorly organized. There was a low-level circulation right in here, as you can see, to the west of the convection. A lot of southwest shear here keeping those storms from developing around the low-level center. So good news here. It is expected to move off towards the east, not impacting Bermuda either. Seas only 4 to 8 feet around the area, too. So that's about it, the closest thing to home. But we do have a low, tropical low to the southwest of Cape Verde that we're going to have to watch this as it continues off towards the west. A little bit of shear out there now, and it is staying pretty far to the south. And there is a chance it could develop into a tropical depression, but it is pretty far from any land areas. So we have several days to watch this one. Eastern Pacific, it is very quiet as we typically see this time of the year. And that is it for the tropical update, folks. Quick look at our forecast for today for the lower 48. Beautiful in the northeast. Scattered showers and storms, though, from Houston all the way to Brownsville, where there could be some more flooding today, and we'll give you details coming up soon. Next.
Ample rainfall and drought affected this year's crops in big ways. A Bloomberg Money Barometer reports on record-setting production, both small and large.
Good morning. The Department of Agriculture issued its outlook for many of our nation's crops. Orange production in Florida, the largest growing state, will come in at a record 252 million boxes. The government said ample rains all year left trees in excellent condition. A crop of that size would exceed the previous record of 244 million in the 1997-98 growing season. Meanwhile, the government said this year's cotton crop will be 3.7% larger than expected a month ago. The crop is expected to reach 17.56 million bales because of ideal weather conditions in the southeast. And finally, the government said a drought in the Midwest caused more harm than expected to the soybean crop a month ago, with less damage than predicted to corn. While the soybean crop of 2.47 billion bushels will be the smallest since 1996, the corn crop forecast was raised to a record 10.21 billion bushels. For the Weather Channel, I'm Linda Bell with the Bloomberg Money Barometer.
All right, stay with us because we'll be talking to Heather Tesh on your weather today about what's coming up soon.
Also check in with Dennis Smith on that morning commute. See how things are shaping up. New York looks nice, doesn't it? Stay with us here at First Outlook.
This program was brought to you by the Principal Financial Group. We understand what you're working for.
Why do we work? Why do we get up every day and go to work? Because we make things, fix things, send our kids off to learn things. At the Principal Financial Group, we know you don't just work to retire, you work to live. That's why we give people the financial tools to help them keep more of the money they make and do more with the money they save. You work hard, we make work hard for you. The Principal Financial Group, we understand what you're working for.
Need proof that Scoop Away's new odor fighters control odor better than Tidy Cats?
Scoop Away. Control stinky odors better.
Why are so many people coming to Lowe's for flooring?
We want wall-to-wall carpeting in the living room.
Lowe's introduces Mohawk Premier Living Carpets.
I love soft carpet.
But it's gotta last. It's one of the softest, most durable carpets available.
And only Lowe's has it. We'll even measure, install, and haul your old carpet away. And Lowe's has low prices every day, guaranteed. That's our promise. Lowe's. Improving home improvement.
Use your Lowe's card and pay nothing for 6 months on flooring purchases of $2.99 or more.
Maybe it's not work that's stressing you out. Maybe it's hormones. They fluctuate long before menopause. Don't wait till menopause to get Estroven.
With soy and black cohosh to help balance hormones.
Naturally, safely.
Don't wait till menopause to get Estroven. Now look for extra strength Estroven.
Drop that yogurt.
Hi, I'm Gordon Elliott.
I recognize
Let
you.
me show you something different. Campbell's Select Soup, and we're going to try the roasted chicken with long grain and wild rice. They have 9 varieties with more tender chicken.
9.
Here we go. Can I borrow your gas for 1 moment? Ta-da! Campbell's Select Soup. Is this good enough to be your mum's soup, do you think?
This actually might be better than my mother's soup.
It's almost illegal amounts of chicken.
Oh, it's great.
Make it Campbell's instead.
Happy anniversary, honey.
Yeah, happy anniversary.
There's something I gotta do.
Oh, yeah? What?
I love this woman!
Welcome back to Weather Center. I'm Mike Seidel. Thanks for joining us.
And I'm Rich Johnson. It's 50 minutes past the hour. It's time for our tropical update. We have a couple different features to tell you about. Let me show you the big picture first of all. And as we now are heading through middle part of October, usually find the tropical activity to really start dropping off. But we really have two different features to watch. Of course, we have our depression back over to the southwest ways of Bermuda, and also this feature here, which should be a depression probably sometime today. Here's tropical depression Mindy, and centered 25.8 north, 68.9 west, about 11 a.m. Atlantic Standard Time. That's where it was centered. That was about 520 miles south-southwest of Bermuda. Top sustained winds just at 30 miles per hour. There's the estimated pressure at 1008 millibars. And our satellite photograph just showing a mass of clouds here. It doesn't look like Mindy is really that organized anymore. Again, you can see something of a circulation across the region, but really doesn't look terribly organized anymore. So we'll see if it holds on too much longer or not. Back over to the Gulf of Mexico, we have a low pressure center. It's really void of much in the way of rain. There are some showers farther north, right back over into Florida, but otherwise not too much happening. Have a tropical wave back over toward the southwest Caribbean Sea. Some pretty active weather here, and this is one of those locations that you do want to keep an eye on, especially into October. Slowly meandering its way back up toward Nicaragua, and we'll have to wait and see if it has any further development in the next couple of days, but right now it's really not much of a concern at all. Farther to the east, back over toward the Windward Islands, the Leeward Islands, just a few clouds around today. Overall, pretty nice day. Puerto Rico, a few clouds building up, maybe an isolated shower. Virgin Islands also looking good. So all in all, looking pretty decent back over toward the islands. Farther to the east, now this is a different story here. This is tropical disturbance. It looks like it's on the verge of becoming a depression. When you see all these colors like this, all these deep red colors, and it does look like that's probably fairly close to near the center, telling us there's a lot of tropical activity in the way of heavy showers near that center. So we think there's some potential for development. Looking aloft, high cirrus clouds blowing off in an anticyclonic fashion. So it does look like there's some potential for some development here, although a little bit farther west. I don't know if the winds are quite as favorable. Visible satellite imagery as we look for where that center of circulation might be. Again, you look at the cloud structure right here. You can see some of those higher cirrus clouds blowing off in that anticyclonic fashion. Looks like that low center may be right in this area here. So we think later today the Hurricane Center may upgrade this to a tropical depression. It certainly looks like it has a chance. Farther to the west, back over toward the coast of Mexico, it's been very busy recently. Had several tropical systems. Now it's quieted down some. The only thing we're finding is a few showers, occasional thunderstorms building over Mexico. And we have one little cluster right back down toward the Gulf of Tehuantepec. Really doesn't offer anything in the way of development. Looking even farther west, back over toward the Philippines and over to Guam. Few showers and storms, nothing imminent also. Now let's head back to the States, see what's going on here with Mike.
And Rich, it's another quiet October day. This is typical for October. We don't usually have a lot of severe weather. We're winding down the hurricane and tropical storm season, and we're waiting for the first big snowstorm of the year. A lot of clouds across the southeast Gulf Coast and a developing storm in the middle of the country. Jet stream is going to drop down and really start to show a pretty decent trough. So this storm is going to wrap up and intensify. And by this time tomorrow, be somewhere in the Ohio Valley, pulling down much cooler air. It's going to be quite windy from the lakes, eventually into New York, Boston, Philadelphia by the middle part of the week. There's your rainfall. Now, a lot of this is not reaching the ground through the Midwest. It's all aloft, what we term virga. And as far as thunderstorms go, little chance of any severe weather today. But watch those rains in South Texas because you've already had a foot or more of rainfall since the early part of the weekend. That could kick in more flooding. Speaking of rainfall, this is about it right now, right around Corpus Christi, up and over towards Matagorda Bay. A couple showers, too, in parts of northeast Florida. And there's your forecast for the rest of this afternoon with scattered thunderstorms along the Gulf Coast.
Well, coming up, we'll have your current conditions on this Columbus Day.
And sunshine is in abundance today in Washington, but will the dry weather continue into your work week? We'll have the answers coming up. Stay with us. If you're on cable, Local on the 8s is next. Then we'll come back and check out some more local radars coast to coast right here on the Weather Channel.
Expect fair skies Wednesday through Friday with temperatures in the 60s on Wednesday.
Welcome back to PM Edition. It's 10 minutes before the hour and time for your tropical update. I'm Carl Parker. Let's check in with our hurricane expert, Dr. Steve Lyons. And Steve, what is the latest on that brand new tropical depression in the Atlantic?
Well, it's moving west, but it remains far from land, so we're not too worried about it affecting land in the near term. Let's look at the latest information from the Hurricane Center, the 5 p.m. advisory. You can see they refer the location to the Cape Verde Islands, which are well to the east of it, even though it's moving to the west, which is an indication that it's not any immediate threat to the Windward or Leeward Islands. Winds are moving around the circulation at 30 miles per hour, and the circulation is moving to the west at 8. What do we expect to happen over the next 4 or 5 days? The system is very likely to become a tropical storm. That would be Tropical Storm Nicholas if that happens. And in 5 days, it's still going to be well to the east of the Windward and Leeward Islands, so we should have plenty of time to monitor this system as it moves to the west and then west-northwest through time. Let's have a quick look at it on the satellite image. You can see it's still rather poorly organized, although the low pressure center is starting to get a little bit better organized through time. The upper level winds are just marginally favorable for continued slow development, with the low pressure center being off to the west of the deep thunderstorm. So we'll monitor this, but there's no immediate worry for any land areas right now. Now, we are monitoring another low pressure area in the southwestern Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean Sea, way down here. This one is an immediate threat to land. It's already producing some heavy rain over Costa Rica that's spreading into Nicaragua, which will spread up to Honduras over the next day or so as this low pressure center climbs basically to the west-northwest. Now, the good news is we think it's going to be close enough to the coast that it may not have a chance to develop all that much, but it will spread heavy rain up the coast, upwards to Belize and maybe even to the Yucatan Peninsula over the next 3 or 4 days. So we'll monitor this for possible tropical cyclone development. If it stays over water, it has a fair chance to do that. In the meantime, out in this area is where we have our other tropical depression, Mindy. Let's zoom in on that system there. You can see the water vapor imagery here I'm zooming in on. The circulation is about at the arrowhead, and look at the upper level winds are very fast. It's tangled up in the front and a big dry wedge coming into it. This one is no threat to Bermuda. It's well to the south, and it's probably not long for this world relative to a tropical system as it moves off to the east. Now let's head out into the circulation on the infrared imagery, and there you see the circulation spinning around, the thunderstorm starting to push off to the east of the low-level center. And before, remember, we had it tracking up closer to Bermuda. Now it's swinging down to the east-southeast. That's indicative of very shallow circulation. And with the upper level winds very fast, we don't think this one's going to come back. So not much of a threat to any land areas. Now, we do have a weak low pressure center up here in the northeastern Gulf of Mexico, just a shallow circulation, low clouds only. It's going to be caught by this front and pulled to the northeast with only some clouds moving over Florida with it. In the meantime, look at the coast of Mexico. Season tends to wind down a little quicker in that part of the woods, and it sure is doing it now. No threat for your vacation cruise down to the Mexican Riviera. Carl?
Dr. Steve Lyons, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you again in about 1 hour. Let's take a look at what's happening across the U.S. right now, and there is a vigorous upper disturbance making its way into the Central Plains. With that, a lot of vertical motion or lift in the atmosphere, and for that reason, there is now a severe thunderstorm watch area that has been issued anywhere from central parts of Kansas, or rather eastern Kansas, and right on down into northeastern Oklahoma, and we're looking for some strong thunderstorms to develop in this area right here. They could produce large hail and wind of up to 70 miles an hour, and that includes you in Kansas City, right on down into Tulsa, Oklahoma. Farther northward, it's plain old rain, although we have seen showers and storms in southeastern parts of Nebraska. Notice the storms beginning to pop up here in extreme northeastern parts of Kansas, right around Topeka, so you certainly could get in on the noisy weather in Kansas City within the next couple of hours. Again, southeastern Nebraska, kind of a noisy day today. Some heavier rain off to the west, and notice that we've got more wet weather now into western parts of Iowa, and a few scattered showers right now in central Florida and also into parts of Alabama and Tennessee.
And stay with us, there's much more to come on the second hour of PM Edition.
We'll take a look ahead to your weekend and beyond in the Weekly Planner. Stay tuned.